Welcome to another exciting episode from Marvelous Videos. I'm your host, Tia Ayer. Magpie, Catwoman's mirror image, is a notorious substitute. Did you ever imagine that you would get to see a villain who has a mental condition that basically makes her commit crimes? Well, DC introduced this villain who is clearly inspired by Catwoman, and her name is Magpie.
Miss Batman, just wanted to let you know. Message received. And don't worry.
Even though this is an underrated character, she holds an important place in the history of Batman and Superman battles. In fact, even her name has a terrific relation to the kind of crime she commits. So without further delay, let us dive right into the content and explore everything about Magpie, from her mental condition to her presence in the DC universe. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Magpie. Ooh, nice belt. Shiny, shiny.
Her love for shiny things and her descent into a world of crime. The character of Margaret Pye was created by John Byrne, a British-born American writer who is well known for his works on Marvel Comics, X-Men, and Fantastic Four. As a child, Margaret Pye had an obsession with shiny things. In fact, her obsession was so deeply rooted that she desired to attain every shiny object, as if it was her birthright. Due to her weird fascination, everyone around her started to tease her and gave her the nickname Magpie, which is a direct reference to the bird named Magpie that is known for collecting shiny objects. Now, as she grew older, she realized that her love for shiny things was not as simple as diamonds being a woman's best friend, because her obsession kept increasing. In fact, she wanted to make it her lifestyle. So she decided to get a job as a curator at the Gotham City Museum of Antiquities. She always dreamed of being surrounded by shiny objects, and this job gave her that life. However, she soon realized that she would never be able to own the antiques around her since she was just an employee. As a result, her love and obsession turned into intense jealousy, and she needed to do more than just look at the antique. So she did a 180, completely turned her life around, and became a thief known as Magpie. Of course, no one would have thought that she would actually adopt even the personality of a bird. Since she was already an employee at the Gotham City Museum, she had access to all sorts of shiny artifacts that were constantly on display. So she decided to build an exact replica of those artifacts, and when the time was right, she would replace them with the original objects. Magpie had no guilt over doing this because she genuinely believed that she was not stealing, but just taking the things that belonged only to her. Initially, she worked alone, but the task of stealing and managing a safe escape was starting to get extremely difficult for her. So she soon hired a group of gangsters in order to conduct the crime even more smoothly. Now, if you think that she is only a criminal that steals, then you are quite wrong, because she also kills people when it comes down to it. In fact, in her group of thugs, whoever managed to piss her off or did not complete their task as she wanted them to would get brutally murdered at her hands without a second thought. Beware the Batman brought this twisted psychopath into the animated world. The 2013 animated television series Beware the Batman, which was produced by Warner Brothers Animated and DC Entertainment, brought a different version of Magpie before us. She made her first appearance in the second episode of the first season of the series. In this version, her name is Margaret Sorrow. She has dissociative identity disorder and is a kleptomaniac. The character of Magpie is voiced by Gray Delisle Griffin. Now, while she was at Blackgate Penitentiary as a prisoner, a doctor named Joe Braxton was a part of a research team that conducted special experiments inside the prison. So Joe, along with a psychotherapist named Bethany Ravencroft, performed certain experiments on Magpie's brain using a device that looked like a helmet. After this experiment, Magpie lost all of her memories, including her identity as Magpie the criminal. She forgot entirely everything about her life and who she was, so they gave her a new identity and a new name by the name of Cassie. Later on, her life got even more complicated because she knew she had a past but had no idea about it. As a result, she decided to take revenge on Braxton and Ravencroft for doing that to her. In reality, they did not fry her brain and erase all of her memories because somehow fragments of her past self as Magpie had seeped deep into her subconscious mind. Soon, her subconscious mind acted up and she found herself at Dr. Bethany Ravencroft's clinic. Now, since she has to take her revenge, she decided to work for Dr. Ravencroft as a receptionist. Apparently, even though Magpie has no recollection of previously being a criminal, her personality as a kleptomaniac has stayed with her, even after the brainwashing. So after finding the device that destroyed her life, she steals it to do the same to Joe Braxton. Eventually, she is successful in wiping Braxton's mind, but in the process, gets caught by Batman. The two confront each other, and upon noticing Batman's dark and gloomy outfit, she makes an argument that perhaps they are both similar in a way. Just like Batman, Magpie's uniform also features all things black and is based upon a bird, so she tries to create a connection between herself and the crime-fighting vigilante, but Batman does not fall for her tricks. He soon realizes that Magpie is Cassie and she has no memory of being Margaret Sorrow, who vanished from the Blackgate Penitentiary 5 years ago. He tries to tell her that he will help her, but Magpie is quite adamant and does not need anybody's help. The two engage in a fight, and Magpie manages to knock Batman unconscious. She then straps him to an operating table and gets ready with the helmet to wipe out his memories as well. After he wakes up, Magpie places the helmet on his head and leaves to go after Dr. Ravencroft. After finding her, Magpie threatens her to restore her memories, but Dr. Ravencroft has no idea of her past. Just when Magpie is about to kill the doctor, Batman arrives and stops her. He informs her that her previous identity as Margaret Sorrow and tells her that she is suffering from split personality since she has two different personalities in one body. He also tells her that the experiment was supposed to get rid of the bad part of her personality, but it has now resurfaced in the form of Magpie. She is unable to process all of this and attacks both the Doctor and Batman once again before running away. Magpie finds out that Batman has destroyed the helmet, and along with that, she loses all hope of ever getting her memories back as Margaret Sorrow. She tries to fight Batman, but he defeats her and the police commissioner, Gordon, arrests her. Later on in the series, this version of Magpie also ends up developing a romantic attachment with Batman because he would often visit her at the Blackgate Penitentiary. Her dark past is Arkham Asylum. In the comic books, Magpie was eventually caught by the team of superheroes and became the first ever criminal to be imprisoned by the team of Batman and Superman, who had to join forces and work together in order to put her behind bars. She was then committed to Arkham Asylum, and all of her shiny possessions were taken away. The loss of her shiny items came as a shock to her, and she actually had a mental breakdown. We then see her story in a 6-part miniseries known as Arkham Asylum Living Hell. At Arkham, Magpie is in a joint cell with Poison Ivy, another inmate known as Doodlebug, who is a deranged artist and is in possession of a shiny item that is long and is a shank-shaped piece of mirror. Now, because of Magpie's unhealthy obsession and current lack of ownership of anything shiny, she decides to take it from him. Doodlebug, of course, has no issues giving it to her, but he asks her for sex in exchange, and surprisingly, Magpie is perfectly okay to comply with this deal. In fact, she soon starts prostituting herself, even to the prison guards and other inmates, in order to get shiny trinkets from them. Her cellmate Poison Ivy finds this behavior of Magpie to be sickening. Now, sometime later, a riot breaks out at the Arkham Asylum, and while some of the prisoners manage to escape and others get left behind after most of the riot is put down. During this entire chaos, Poison Ivy and Magpie, who now seem to be sharing a common goal, begin digging a tunnel beneath Arkham so that they can try and escape. However, this ended quite badly for the duo because their tunnel led them to one of the cellars at Arkham instead of the outside world. Now, accidentally, Poison Ivy ended up breaking into a room that was sealed in order to contain the Sharva, the 7 Lords of Torture. This brought demons from hell into the living world. Since Magpie and Poison Ivy were in close proximity to the Scarva, the two got possessed by different demons, and their bodies started to change into hideous, monstrous versions of themselves. With this deadly threat looming over Arkham Asylum, a prisoner known as Warren White, or the Great White Shark, is able to persuade the Master of the Demons to send them back to where they came from, that is hell. As a result of this, both Magpie and Poison Ivy are released from possession, and they go back to their original forms.
Catch.
The deranged thief also appeared in the Gotham TV series. The character of Magpie gets adapted in a live-action version for the first time in the Gotham TV series. She is played by Sarah Schenkon, and in this version, she is the stealthy jewel thief of Gotham City. On one of her missions to steal some valuables, she noticed that another thief managed to rob the place before she could. So she decided to follow this person, and it led her to the base of operations that belonged to Oswald Chesterfield Cobblebot, a fierce crime lord in Gotham City who is famously known as the Penguin. Magpie begins taking a look around the place in the most discreet manner and stumbles upon the Penguin's private collection of treasure. Now, since her favorite things are the shiny items, her eyes fall upon 2 sparkly Lucifer diamonds. It really is no secret that Magpie is a bit psychotic at this point, so she ends up naming her new diamond Charlotte. She chooses to take the diamonds with her, but she notices that one of them is a secret explosive device. Before she can safely leave Mr. Cobblepot, aka the Penguin's base, she is caught red-handed by him and does not look good for her at all. But since she is in a possession of the diamonds that explodes, she uses it as a diversion and manages to escape when the blast occurs. Now, later on, Mr. Cobblepot joins forces with another supervillain, Selina Kyle, also known as Catwoman, in order to track down Magpie. Soon enough, the 2 villains are able to locate the workshop of Magpie, where she creates her fake jewels. They attack her and she is completely caught off guard. She engages in a battle with them and manages to push away the Penguin so that she can escape. However, Catwoman does not let that happen and immediately captures Magpie. But Magpie breaks free and grabs a watch from her collection of stolen items. Before escaping from her workshop, she tells them that the things in her office could blow up at any time, and if they stay, they are sure to die. This gives her enough time to run away and save her life. But it is an inherent quality in Magpie that she cannot stay away from stealing shiny things for very long, so she soon goes back to the Penguin's base in order to steal his secret treasure. Only this time, she is unaware that the Penguin has laid down a trap for her. So during her escapade, she ends up grabbing a trap and is shot on the spot. When Mr. Cobblepot and Catwoman arrive, she begs them to set her free, but the Penguin laughs it off and shoots her dead. Much like her other versions, even in this one, Magpie is shown as a compulsive thief.
Time to get pruned, little flower.
What makes her so potent even without superpowers? Well, despite the lack of superpowers, Magpie is a formidable enemy for both Batman and Superman, since they had to work together to catch her. She is a master of gadgets and has the ability to build precise duplicates of anything that she steals. She is also able to create deadly weapons and booby traps in the form of her stolen artifacts to trick her enemies. And if that was not enough, she's an excellently skilled gymnast and is great at hand-to-hand combat. She is also capable of creating airborne poisons, explosives, and razor blades that shoot from her costume. In fact, in Beware the Batman, Magpie's version also had the ability to shoot razor claws from her hands. The character of Margaret Pye is sure to remind the fans of Catwoman due to the similarity in their costumes and build. Magpie is definitely a great villain as she challenges Batman to go beyond his limits if he wants to defeat her. DC did a great job introducing her into the universe because her mental health condition as a kleptomaniac gives the fans a new perspective of the villain and her struggles in dealing with this irresistible urges that she has. Magpie's character certainly has the potential to be explored even more, and it would be fun if we got to watch her in her modern version. Well guys, that is all for today, and we hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as we enjoyed making it for you. Have a fantastic day ahead. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone.